Hello and welcome to episode 325 of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. We are just 39 days away from the NFL draft, which means we got to start looking a little bit deeper. Snoog and I have been hitting you really hard with guys you should be taking in the first round. Every Wednesday, we've been coming out with mock drafts so you guys can really perfect your craft on who you like. 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays. Today, we're going to talk about round two because round two is an absolute gold mine. We're talking about some elite level prospects, some guys that are going to finish. They're going to easily slot into top 10 to top 20 at their position. You're going to get them in round two. Snoog, the more I dig into this class, the more I love it. We're going to go over round two today, and there's about 15 guys where you could say they're worthy of a second round pick. And we haven't even talked about guys that might jump up into the first round and push some more of them down. It's a loaded area, 201 to 205. I am just stoked for this area.
Yeah, it doesn't have the strength of last year's class, but the depth is some of the best we've seen in a draft class in a while. So we got about 24 guys deep that you feel pretty decently confident about that are going to go day two, that they're going to get the draft capital, that they're going to get the opportunity in an NFL offense. I'm excited to jump into this one because the first couple picks in the second round are guys that you could argue as first round rookie picks. So you're going to get some steals. If you got 201 to 204, even 205, stash them, hold them, don't trade them until draft day if you're planning on trading them. Can't stress that enough, been telling everybody in the Discord, everybody all over my Twitter, don't trade your rookie picks just to trade them, because people are like, should I trade 106 and 201 for Tre Higgins? It's like, why? Why do you want to do that right now? You could do that during the draft. Why do you want to do it now? See who's on the clock, see where they go.
You want to be on the upper end of those. Like I understand if you're sitting there at the 102 and you're debating between Hampton and Tet and Henderson and Ward, and you're like, you know what? Somebody just offered me Drake London. Okay, that makes sense. You're getting a foundational wide receiver. But these random trades of people saying, well, I'm going to give up, the 106 for Christian McCaffrey because I need a running back. This is the class to get the running back. So right now, and it's all going to change. And this is why I think a lot of people are really crapping on the early part of the first round is, after Genty, it's a little bit, you have Hampton, McMillan, Ward, Henderson all in the same tier. Arguably Travis Hunter in that tier if he goes to the Patriots. You got Tyler Warren, who's the tight end one of this class. Judkins, Johnson, Sanders, Ibuka, and Golden are filling out most people's first round. That's kind of how it looks right now. But what I say right now is there's a Sweet 16. We're in March Madness. There's a Sweet 16. There's 16 guys that I think are literally worthy of first round picks. The first one here, in most tight end classes, and we've been spoiled, right? 2022, we had Trey McBride. 2023, we had Sam Laporta. 2024, we had Brock Bowers. 2024, we have Tyler Warren, and then Colston Loveland. So this is someone that has top 6 tight end upside in Dynasty, and you're going to get him in the early second round. Talk to me a little bit about the prospect here of Colston Loveland.
Yeah, the thing that I love about him was he was his entire team's offense. I think he accounted for like 40% of Michigan's total passing yards. So he's a guy that did it all. He's a natural separator and route runner. You don't see that often at the tight end position. Reminds me a lot of Mark Andrews. Can do it all, can win at all 3 levels. Big physical player, 6'5", 250, checks in every box. He's projected a top 10 to 20 NFL draft pick. Daniel Jeremiah, Miles Kiper, all these, Todd McShay, all these guys that are talking here and feeling all these rumors and NFL draft rumors, and all the scouts, they're talking, they're chatting, they're talking about these guys. They're hearing good things about Loveland and where his draft stock's going to take him. I think he's not making it past 22 at the Chargers, and I think there's a real good chance he goes above that. But the thing that I loved most about him was hyper efficient, 2.5+ yards per route run this past season, back-to-back seasons with 2+ yards per route run. For a tight end, that's crazy. That's elite territory to have that type of production as a tight end. Keep in mind, Michigan, run-heavy offense. They never really threw the ball. Even when J.J. McCarthy was there, they were always run-heavy. Just the style of play that they play, that's the Jim Harbaugh way. Even this year, they had literally no quarterbacks that could throw a damn football, and Loveland still posted a season with 90+ PFF grade, 20 years old still. Like, he's just checking every damn box you can ask for. And the last stepping stone and last piece to the puzzle is the draft capital, and he's probably going to check that for us. So tight end premium especially, he's probably going to be my 111, 112, and I'm getting him here at the 201. So very good value here.
in Dynasty right now, I mean, I have Bowers 1, McBride 2, Laporta 3, Hawkinson, Kittle 4, 5, and then Warren 6. You could put Warren as high as 4 if you'd like, before landing spots. I want you to break down these 3 tight ends. I want you to keep one, trade one, cut one, because these are the next 3 guys that I have. Colston Loveland, David Njoku, and Tucker Kraft.
I'm keeping Loveland, by far.
Okay.
I'd trade Kraft. I'd cut Njoku.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat there. And I'm trying to look at guys at the 201. You said not to trade that 201. If someone comes to you today and you're a contender and they offer you Mike Evans, would you rather Mike Evans or the 201?
201.
Jerry Jeudy.
201.
Terry McLaurin.
Ooh. 201 today. I can make that on draft day, though.
Derrick Henry.
201.
See, I think McLaurin and Henry, I might take that shot, but you got to be all in that
I don't
scenario.
hate those moves, right? I could see myself making a move like that, but I'm a big firm believer on just not moving a single draft pick until draft day because everybody gets FOMO, including myself, and I'm like, damn, I don't have a pick this year. I want to pick. Come take Alvin Kamara at 208 and give me the 201. I've done shit like that, so that's why I think that
I've been doing a lot of that. I like it.
Part of my French.
Next one we're going to talk here is Luther Burden. So Luther Burden was a lot of people's dynasty, rookie wide receiver 1 going into this season. Really rough 2024. And now we've opened up an area where this is someone that came in as a 5-star recruit, the number 1 in the entire class coming in out of high school. Posted 1,200 yards, 3+ yards per route run, 90+ PFF grade as a sophomore, right? He was unbelievable. He led all wide receivers with broken tackles in 30. As a junior, his catch was over 50% on contested catches, but his starters were, the offense was disgusting. He ran a 4.41. He's 6 foot, 206. All these things check the boxes, right? So so where are we at here? I know a lot of the doubt is that, where he was at, 752 of his 1,200 yards as a sophomore was balls that were 10 yards or, 10 yards downfield. He's someone that's going to need manufactured touches, but he's had fantastic PFF grades. He seems to be a guy that can get open all the time. It's just going to be landing spot. Where 3.29 yards per route run in college is unbelievable. First guy in PFF history with 30+ broken tackles. This is a guy that I know the last mock draft that we saw, the one we did with Marco Enriquez, had him going to the Chiefs. I think there's a lot of Rashee Rice in his game if we get him into the right area where quick slants and break tackles and get into the open field. A lot of people want to compare him to Debo. Debo's just a bricked up dude.
He's a one-of-a-kind type player.
Yeah. But
he can.
But if we get Luther Burden in a Mike McDaniel system, if we get him in a system where, Sean Payton, someone that's going to be able to truly utilize him, he's worthy of a late first. But you're going to get him now, between 112 and 202. And I think he's worth the gamble there. I wasn't touching him when he was the 104 when we started this whole process.
I love that you brought that up. That's what I was just going to say. It's all cost of acquisition for us, right?
Yeah.
It's all cost of acquisition for us. He's a guy I watch, I see the upside, smooth route runner, can win. He is so damn good at the slot fade and primarily a slot player. Most of his targets came from within 10 yards. So it's definitely one of those guys that's kind of in that dink and dunk range. A lot of those guys haven't translated, but it's becoming more and more popular now today in the NFL for slots to be utilized, 3 wide receiver sets, all that good stuff. He's just so dynamic with the ball in his hands, big, physical, 6 foot, 205 pounds, natural he forced 20+ missed tackles in back-to-back seasons. He hit 30 this past season, even on a down year.
Wild.
And the best thing about him is he's a weapon with the ball in his hands. So we've seen LaVisca, we've seen Treylon Burks, we've seen Wan'Dale Robinson, we've seen these guys, Rondell Moore, as these slot merchants that just couldn't translate. But we've also seen Amon-Ra. We've seen Jackson Smith and Jigba. We've seen all these different types of Rashee Rice coming in, Jaden Reed, these guys that can come in, still win downfield, which Luther Burden can, and win after the catch. I was out when he was a top 6 rookie pick. I was out because I was like, I'd rather Egbuka, I'd rather Hunter, I'd rather McMillan. That's 3 wideouts alone. And then that's Genty. And then I'd take all the big name running backs over him that are going to get day 2 draft capital. But where it gets interesting with Burden is now you're taking the shot in that 112 to 203 range on a guy that could go a top 40, top 35 pick. He's just a pure upside play. So do you want a 31-year-old or 32-year-old Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill, or do you want to take a shot on a 20-year-old Luther Burden that went pick 30 or pick 25 to the Houston Texans or pick 32 to the Chiefs or pick, I don't know, 38 to the Panthers or wherever the Panthers pick around too. So that's kind of the play that we talk about, but I love that you brought that up because it's all cost of acquisition.
You are up on the next one. I mean, we got Cam Skattebo here. I know he's your 203. I think landing spot is going to be not landing spot as much as draft capital because we've seen him in mock drafts kind of all over the board. You're pretty sold, and a lot of the consensus are sold that he goes round 2. If that happens, again, this second round is a gold mine. If he goes round 2 and he goes to a landing spot that we like, if he goes to the Bears, if he goes to the Chargers, he goes to Dallas, you're like, okay, like this is someone that ultimately belongs at the late first round if he has what the juice that you and I have seen on the tape.
Yeah, when I was diving through tape back throughout the winter time and just getting to watch college football playoffs when Arizona State basically whooped Texas's butt on the big stage and went toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the country that everyone thought they were going to get blown out. The main reason why was because of that dude, Cam Skattebo, right there. He put his team on the back through the entire college football playoffs. Absolute workhorse, absolute dog, high motor type player. There's so many stats and statistics and analytics you could bring up about Cam Skattebo that make you just say this guy is elite. He's an elite running back prospect. Where he has his concerns is the athleticism, but he has crazy good burst, and he had a 39-inch vertical at 220 pounds. So I think he's some good NFL comps for him, what you can expect. I think he's a more nimble Dave Montgomery, so like a shiftier, quicker Dave Montgomery. I see a lot of DeAndre Swift in his game with just being that really shifty, good in space, good receiving back, bulky bowling ball kind of prototype running back. But I think he's the rumors and a lot of what I'm seeing on draft capital with these running backs is Cam Skattebo seems like a lock to go day 2. And I'm seeing a lot of round 2 hype around his name and Todd McShay and a lot of those big name guys out there that just do this for a living. They talk to scouts. They do all the stuff that you need to know to get this insider information. And Cam Skattebo is a name that comes up a lot. So I just think the analytics checks every box. Shout out Scott Barrett on Twitter, but he said 3 running backs in college football history to post 1,700 plus rushing yards and 500 plus receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey, Ashton Genty, and Cam Skattebo. And Cam Skattebo's strength of schedule this year was one of the hardest in college football in the past few years. So there's not a thing you can't like about him other than he's not fast. And I don't care if he ain't fast because Kareem Hunt wasn't fast. Alvin Kamara wasn't fast. Everybody's not fast at the running back. Josh Jacobs, you go on and on.
There's quite a few guys there in that 4.5, 4.6 range. Michael Kensel, new to the Smash Accept Patreon. He put, thanks for all the hard work, Dad and Snoog. You know, he put it in a super chat there. Thank you. We appreciate that. Smash Accept Discord right now. Patreon.com/Smash Accept. You pay the price on the Patreon. We put you into the Discord. We have had more people join in the last month than we could have ever expected. You guys are jumping in there, and guys are saying, you know, the biggest comments are, multiple guys have said this is the best fantasy Discord they've ever been in because of the community, the way the guys talk. We started Smash 17, Smash 18 this past offseason. I'm drafting right now with guys in there. Guys are getting involved in mock drafts. This isn't just show up and let's talk. You know, it's not just get information from Snoog. It's not just information from Dad. You get all that stuff. But the amount of like friendships in the communities where guys are like, they'll make a comment and all of a sudden somebody will be like, oh, that's my boy, Dion, what's up? You know, and then they'll start talking and then they'll talk. Then you start forming trade ideas.
Smash family, baby.
Trade ideas in your own head, just like trade ideas to get this man at 204. Jaxson Dart is someone that jumps off the tape. We're seeing a lot of people really mocking him inside round one. If that happens, he's the 111 or 112. He does not
How long have
belong
we
in
been saying
204.
that, Dad? We've been saying that
But
since what? December, that Jaxson Dart was going to be a first round pick.
and if that comes
Now
to
it seems pretty
fruition,
locked.
his advanced analytics, I mean, 11.9 average depth of target, 7.1 big time throw rate, 10.7 yards per attempt. That's better than Ward. That's better than Shador. You know, he did that with a inferior offensive line. His offensive line did not give him
Gunslinger.
enough time. Dude can sling it. But what I really like more so than Ward and Sanders is 2022, 362 rushing yards. Or I'm sorry, 614 rushing yards. 2023, 391 with 8 touchdowns. 2024, 495 yards, 3 touchdowns. He can run it, you know, and if we get him, I love I keep seeing a lot of mocks saying, you know, that the Giants trade up into the end of round one. I would love that. Right now, you got, I don't think any of these quarterbacks in this class are truly ready to start day one. I think Ward can in the right situation. I think the rest of them need a little bit of time, but they just signed Jameis Winston. If you put Jaxson Dart behind Jameis Winston, because we know Jameis Winston's just going to prop up Malik Neighbors for 4 to 6 weeks until the Giants are like, well, this sucks. He threw 40.
And Dart's going to do the same thing.
Yeah. So
Dart's
let's bring Dart in here.
Jameis.
Let's let him gunsling it. Let's send him there. Arguably the highest upside of the 3 quarterbacks in this group. I think Cam Ward has the safest floor, but I think Jaxson Dart could, in a couple of years, be the guy that you're like, damn, this was the Bo Nix of 2025. Like we missed on him because we kept letting him fall. I think he's going to be great as his teammate right here. I mean, we're moving along here real well. Tre Harris. If Tre Harris played all season long, Jaxson Dart is a first-round pick, and Tre Harris is a first-round pick in the NFL. So, I mean, like, Tre Harris falling to 2.5, where early on in this draft process, a lot of people had him as 111 to 112. This is still that hotbed in that Sweet 16 area where you're like, I'm going to get a real difference maker. If he goes round 2 to the right situation, Tre Harris has tremendous upside.
The thing I love about Tre Harris, not only did he have himself a day at the combine, I know he ran a 4.54, which isn't ideal, but at 6'2", 205 pounds, not everybody can be Brian Thomas Jr. He jumped out of the gym, 38.5-inch vertical. He had a good raw score, hit 9+. I love Tre Harris, and he's probably going to be that guy that, like we talked about with Luther Burden, that you're just chasing pure upside with that 204 to 206 range. You want a guy that, before injury, I mean, he was pacing out like 1,800 yards and 100+ receptions in the SEC, probably 18 to 20 touchdowns. He had 1,060 and 7 touchdowns in 8 games. I think it was 7.5 actually, because he left one of the games injured. But 5+ yards per route run. Have we seen that? Like, it's rare you see that, and especially in the SEC. And it's not a one-hit wonder. He's been productive. He was productive before he came to Ole Miss. He was productive both years at Ole Miss. Him and Dart, I would love to see a team double dip and pair those two up. Like if like, I don't know who's a good example, but say like the Saints or the Jets or one of those teams, not the Jets anymore, but the Saints or one of those teams kind of take Dart in that range, and then they take a Tre Harris in round 2. Like that'd be something really cool because they have the chemistry together and they balled out. So Tre Harris, nimble route runner for how big he is. I was surprised at how fluid his hips are. He can move well in and out of breaks. He can win downfield. 18+ yards per reception in his best season. So he can win downfield really well. Contested catch and jump ball scenarios aren't 50-50 for him. It's more like 75-25, 70-30. Like he wins every single one. I'm yet to see him lose one. So I love this value on Tre Harris, and I love this range. He's in that tier with Burden and Golden for me, as long as he gets round 2 draft capital.
And this is where the tier break ends for me. This is why I'm trying to get inside that 205. I think the next guy, if we get the right landing spot, I don't think he's going to go day 2 anymore. If he does, you know, it's going to be in round 3. I don't think the pipe dream of Devin Neal going in the second round is over, you know, but I think what you look at is he could be a steal in day 2 or day 3. We get guys like Bucky Irving who didn't test great at the combine, and then they go to the right situation and they ball out. My pro comps for him, his ceiling is David Montgomery. His floor is Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary was a good player. I think that's kind of what we're looking at. His tape, his change of direction is so fluid. His patience is unbelievable. I think he has really end zone proficiency. He doesn't have the long speed that everybody's kind of looking for. Like his 40 time wasn't great, but neither did Kareem Hunt. Neither did, Josh Jacobs. Everybody keeps saying those kind of things. I'm all in. I think Devin Neal projects himself as a versatile running back with 3 down upside in the right system. Teams are really going to show what they believe in him, right, on draft day. If he goes in round 4, we're like, okay, this situation better be good. But if he goes in round 2, round 3 to a team that's running back needy, and I don't want to overlook the idea that some teams are going to take multiple running backs in this class. It just
they're going to double dip.
And if you get Devin Neal and, maybe Tuten,
Jaydin Blue or something
Neal,
like that.
Blue or Brashard Smith, and you start to hedge your bets here a little bit, I think we're going to see a lot of that. We got Michael's back in here. He mentioned a trade earlier. He wanted to get an idea. He said, I have Penix to stack with London. I have the 202. What back should I target there at 202? He said, smash up on the Patreon. But at the 202,
Skattebo.
If you have that pick, are you sticking with Skattebo? I'm trying to just get.
I'm probably trading it for
what I've seen.
Established.
I've been seeing, for some reason, and I don't understand it, is people that are not educated feel like that the Panthers are going to draft another running back high. Chuba Hubbard. If you can get, I saw him in the Patreon go for the 2.6 the other day. If you can get Chuba Hubbard at the 2.2, you're going to get an RB1. And, if they take someone, it's going to be a round 5 guy because they just invested in Jonathan Brooks. I would love to see 202 for Kamara, Montgomery, Mixon, ETN plus. So you get that 202, you get one of those guys, right? And then you get a 2-3 swap. So like you ended up moving back and then you add to it, so if you move, get yourself into that section where those guys are going to be studs. So trade 202 and a third for 208 and Kamara, or get yourself some kind of upside there.
Just be careful trading picks like that until draft day. I just wait because nothing changes, right? Like you're still going to be able to get those guys on draft day and you get to figure out what running backs didn't get replaced.
And we're going to talk about that in another show about running backs that get replaced. Those guys I just mentioned, they are not getting replaced, but they're not going to increase in value either. There is no draft scenario between now and May 1st where Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne increase in value. Like there's just none where the 201, 202 could increase in value.
Exactly.
The 207 could really increase in value here. You and I both love this running back. I mean, we have 3. This is it, right? At this tier break, you should not be considering anything but running backs. In that 206 to 212, I have 2 guys I would consider, and I'm going to cover those. But here, DJ Giddens, he really could be a guy that didn't start playing football till sophomore in high school. He could break out. Like he could be a guy that they draft in the 3rd round. He sits behind a Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon starts to break down a little bit. And now all of a sudden you're like, damn, like he's going to be the bell cow in Houston.
Not only was he just very productive throughout college. I mean, this is a guy that since Deuce Vaughn, when I was watching Deuce Vaughn tape back in the 2023 rookie cycle, I was like, damn, DJ Giddens is good. And he was a true freshman then. And I was like, this guy is good. Like I'm very interested in this guy. I actually ended up snagging him up in the 4th round of one of my Devy drafts that year. And breakout sophomore year. He reminds me so much of like a James Cook, Rashad White, one of those just really good athletes, really, really high-end receiving back type player, elusive, like kind of one cut and go type running back. If you just look at his combine alone, I think he cemented himself and locked himself in as a day 2 pick. 4.43 40, 1.53 split, 39.5-inch vertical, 10.10 broad, 9.89 raw score. Came in at 6'1", 212 pounds. Just a big back that moves extremely fluid and well. 110 speed score. That was the 3rd best in this running back class. Checks every damn box you're looking for. I mean, if you just look at the advanced analytics, his yards after contact numbers were great, hit 4+. I mean, good yards per out run numbers as a receiver, hit 20+ receptions in back-to-back seasons. Like, just do it all type running back coming out of the Big 12. I mean, this is the guy that I think in the right system and in the right hands of the right coach if he goes to the Texans on round 3 and sits for a year behind Joe Mixon. Or I think he's going to have like that. He reminds me of like a way better Tyrone Tracy. So I really like DJ Giddens here. I could see him going in round 2. I could see him going round 3, but I could see him sneaking all the way up to that 205, 206, 204 range, depending on what happens with the guys above him. But whenever you see a back that can catch the ball really well, you get excited. So
I think when you look at this, and a lot of guys are going to come in here and they're going to say, "Oh, Dad, you should have taken Dylan Sampson at 2.6," or guys are going to say, "You should have taken Tuten at 2.6." Right now, this is why tiers are so important. We talk about this tier above, where you're talking about Loveland, Burden, Skattebo, Dart, Harris. They seem to be a cut above. But if you get Neal, Giddens, Sampson, Tuten to the 49ers behind CMC, which is an heir apparent, we have so many running backs that were awesome for so long. Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry. None of them have a real heir apparent. You Christian McCaffrey. You get one of these guys like Dylan Sampson, who honestly, I mean, even to the Eagles, I would absolutely love, because the pro comp that Lance Zierlein has for him, and I kind of like it, is Brian Westbrook. So he's a little undersized. He's someone that creates yards after blocking. What he's able to do, he's so elusive. He's able to read the holes with patience. He takes care of things. Impressive contact balance for his size. He's a little undersized at that 208 instead of 220 range, but 929 of his 1491 rushing yards came after contact, Snoog. He has really good change of pace type backup role. Like, he's a potential to grow into a lead role. So I could see him, like Westbrook, get drafted and be a change of pace guy for a year, maybe a year and a half. And then all of a sudden the lead back goes down and we're like, now he's put on the weight. He's put on the maturation where he's 220 now. And he takes those receiving skills. He takes that elusiveness and he becomes an elite level running back because he has all the tools. Him and Giddens, to me, have the biggest upside of anybody in this second round of just passing themselves into crazy value in 2026, 2027, guys that could really pan out.
Yeah, Sampson's interesting to me. He reminds me of one of those kind of needs the right situation. Like, I could see him being like the Raheem Mostert filler in Miami, or being a 1-2 change of pace back to a Derrick Henry, or to a bigger Dave Montgomery type of back, like one of those type of change of pace running backs, kind of like how Achin and Gibbs were used. I think that's where he would find most of his success, kind of being that change up guy. But you nailed it there. Like Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, those James Cook, those type of running backs is kind of how he plays, like those guys, right? Like that speedy, undersized guy, but still has a little bit of bulk to his frame, like still a 200+ pounder, like can bounce through contact. He's a fun player. I don't know how he's going to translate fantasy wise, but he's definitely a fun player in my opinion.
No one's risen their stock like this guy. I mean, there's one guy that just blew up the combine, and you and I may have had him as a mid-third in the beginning of this process, maybe even a late third. But man, if you're not taking him in the second round, you're not doing your dynasty team a service.
Yeah, he's the type of guy like DJ Giddens, where after we get through that like Tre Harris, Devin Neal tier, it's like I want to go for the upside. Like, I don't care if I draft a flex at the 208. I could trade a third and go get Keenan Allen, right? Bhayshul Tuten, however you pronounce it, I think that's the right way, but he single-handedly had the best combine out of any position.
Junty just went the pick before me. I had Burrow at 1-4.
That burns.
At the 2-9.
That burns.
Genty was going to be my pick at 2.
You look like you saw a ghost.
I know.
Like you just saw a ghost.
Oh, dude.
But
Crazy,
I mean,
Connor, we're no longer friends, man.
Yeah, if you just look at Tuten's combine, I think he had the best combine of anybody that went there in Indianapolis. I mean, 4.3 240, 1.49 split, led the running back position in both of those categories. 40.5-inch vertical, 10-10 broad, 9+ raw score. He had the best speed score out of any running back in the class. Like, if you want to talk about an elite athlete and sprinter and explosive player, it's Bhayshul Tuten. And if you want to talk about what I was just saying with Dylan Sampson, he profiles very similar in the same ways. Get him into Miami to be the guy that's that 1-2 punch with Devon A-Chain. I mean, people are like, you say that, that stinks. I don't want that. That's bad. That means he's not good. He's a handcuff. No, Jalen Wright just stinks. What that means is that he has the upside to be like what Raheem Mostert was and score friggin' 20 touchdowns in 2022 like he did, and be that bigger guy down by the goal line where they can keep A-Chain fresh. So that's what I like about these type of guys and the explosive elite athletes that break tackles, have good contact balance, and can just get the ball and take off. That's really translating nowadays versus what it used to be. Like now the smaller, speedy, explosive guys are translating. Tuten fits that mold, and I really think with his productive career, I know he has a crazy fumbling issue, but 1.5 plus yards per out run in a season, 4.5 plus yards after contact per attempt, 3 seasons with 4 plus yards after contact per attempt. NFL teams are going to look at him and be like, I'm willing to take the chance on this guy, just like you and I should both be in rookie drafts.
You know, the 49ers took Garendo last year. They like the
he's a perfect fit in San Fran.
Oh, he would be beautiful.
My comp is Elijah Mitchell on steroids, in like word for word. Elijah Mitchell.
The next one here for me is like, I'm taking running backs here in this area, but I think Jaydin Higgins, who dominated at the Senior Bowl, he had a really nice combine, 6'4", 250 pounds, just a crazy catch radius, 79.38. You know, he's someone that possesses just those quick twitch athleticism. He's really shifty at the line. I think he's going to be a guy that excels in the red zone with his size, good spatial awareness. I think his floor is like a Cedric Tillman plus. I think this is someone that if he goes in round 2, really could improve his draft stock. Like he's the type of wide receiver that teams are looking for, someone that really can get open, and he has the size. And I think a lot of people have tried to comp him to Drake London. I don't think he's that, but I think he's got a lot of skills at the next level that I think it's between him and a couple of running backs here. If I have a late second and a bunch of third round, I'm just pounding running backs because there's going to be quite a few of them here. The guy that I really wanted to take, but I keep seeing him slip into situations I don't like. I keep seeing him going behind guys that I don't like. I see him falling deeper in drafts. If you just woke up in a coma, you know, you just got it after 2023, after the season, you're like, Ollie Gordon's going 211 in your mock draft. You're like, what the hell happened?
Be like 211 in startups.
Yeah, like what happened here? You know, but something did happen. You know, the 2024 tape was not the same as 2023. No matter what excuse we want to make, it just wasn't there. But he could be really, like we keep saying, a gold mine at the 211.
People are gonna love him when he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers in round 2 or 3 in the NFL draft. Like I think he feels like a Steeler. Before I've had these comps for Ollie Gordon since like I think December, might be November now. Latavius Murray, Jordan Howard, and Najee Harris. Every single one of them was 6'1", 220 plus pounds, and they were just grinders, workhorses that aren't the most elite talents, but where Ollie Gordon separates himself from those type of big kind of 2-down guys is really soft hands as a pass catcher, just like Latavius Murray and Najee Harris had. He feels everything extremely well. Like he just has a really good feel for the while he's running the ball between the tackles, seeing things, seeing defenses, adjusting, good footwork in the hole, decisive runner. Like he just does all that stuff really well, and he has good vision, moves extremely well for a guy his size, really soft, light feet when he's running the football. So I think that's the type of stuff that's going to translate better for him versus like when Braylon Allen came out, right? And he reminds me of the Braylon Allen of this cycle, but Braylon Allen's biggest issue was he wasn't explosive and he wasn't really a hard runner for how big he was. And I think Ollie Gordon kind of does all that better. And he's a lot more shifty and a lot more complete as a runner. So I think he's another guy that's pretty much locked himself in as a day 2 pick. If you just look at what he did in 2023, I won't even talk about 2024. Doak Walker, a winner, 2,000 all-purpose yards, crazy amount of touchdowns. I think he scored like 20-something plus. Like just take the shot on a player like that at the back end of a second.
And this is where if you're playing in tight end premium and he gets the right draft capital, I could see this guy going 2-6. You know, like Harold Fannin Jr., 6'4", 230, still just 20 years old. By the way, Dylan Sampson, also 20 years old. I love when you're getting a running back like Giddens and Sampson who are so young and they're going to just produce. They're going to get themselves into there. Harold Fannin this past year, 117 receptions, 1,555 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's wild. That's just wild. I know you and I've talked to. He's kind of like potentially a better Jonnu Smith. He doesn't have the explosiveness that a lot of people, I see people making lazy comps like Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis is one of the most athletic tight ends of all time. That's not what we're talking about when we're talking Harold Fannin Jr. But at 212, I'll smash that because the upside is there for him to be. We saw what Jonnu did this year. The upside is there for a 60, 70 plus, sophomore or junior season as he starts to. I don't think he's going to come in and dominate day one. He's coming from Bowling Green. I think he's going to a little bit more of a project than say Loveland and Warren. This is what's crazy, Snoog, is we have now listed 24 players, not including Damian Martinez, Elek Ayomanor, Jalen Noel, Jalen Royals, Taj Brooks, RJ Harvey, Brashard Smith, Jalen Milroe, and Jack Becken. I have seen every single one of these players mocked in either round 2 or round 3. Every single one, except maybe Brashard Smith. I see him falling a little bit and Taj Brooks falling a little bit, but they have crazy amounts of talent. If you see any of these guys in the right situation, RJ Harvey to the 49ers, Jalen Noel to the Patriots, Jalen Royals to the Patriots, there's so many out. Jalen Milroe going somewhere that is a backup running back. I saw the Colts, which is kind of weird, because we just took a shot on Anthony Richardson. Now we're going to take a shot on another guy, put them both in the same backfield. Jack Beck, I'm starting to converted tight end. This is deep. Third rounds are nice. Early thirds, you're going to get. Last year, I was getting Bucky and Braylon Allen in that early third, and you were able to cash out. You got seconds for Braylon Allen when Breece Hall was struggling. You got firsts, now early first for Bucky Irving. If you had to pick one guy out of this group and you say, you know what, he's going to be the 301, he's going to be a steal, he's someone that I don't care where he goes in the draft, I'm getting him.
Damian Martinez. That's someone I'm going after like crazy in that third round range. Just because I've loved the tape. I've loved the prospect. I've watched him for a while. Highly productive in 2 different systems that were completely different schemes. One under center, one out of shotgun. Beast after contact. He reminds me so much of a Ramondre Stevenson and of those caliber running backs that went in round 4 but still end up being an absolute stud and just works their way to the top of the depth chart. He's a grinder. He can do it all. He can catch the ball, moves like nobody else at that size. So yeah, definitely a guy that I could see just maybe not having the highest ceiling out of this group, but just being a guy that I know for damn sure that if I take him, he's going to end up giving me some type of return at some point in time.
For me, it's RJ Harvey. Number one in explosive run rate, just an absolute beast. And it's not just the TikTok where they had him transfer from his, from him running at the combine into his collegiate uniform, which was straight hype. Got me pumped up. I think he's got a lot of upside. Guys like Lucas Kitts from YouTube, he says, where you see Arroyo going. I think he could be a second round pick. I think he's ultimately going to be a steal somewhere in that third round, and I think you're going to get a lot of these guys that, let's be honest, they could fall to the 4th round. You're going to see guys in the 4th round that we have not done any of our mocks really to kind of go into the 4th round. But dude, I'm loving this class. I'm loving the gems. I'm loving the gold mines. Real quick recap of our 201 through 212. We're talking Colston Loveland at 201, top 6 dynasty tight end type upside. Luther Burden at 202, someone that ultimately, Snoog, I think could be a top 24 wide receiver or better. Same with Cam Skattebo at 203. He has top 15 running back upside in the right spot. Jaxson Dart, quarterback that's probably in that 15 to 18 dynasty range, likely more in the 20s, but he's got a lot of upside. Tre Harris, top 24 wide receiver upside, and that's incredible. That's our tier up to 205. That's where you want to get. You want to make sure you're getting into that spot where then we talk about our tier break and our running back frenzy. Devin Neal, DJ Giddens, Dylan Sampson, Bhayshul Tuten, Ollie Gordon, Damian Martinez. They're going to dominate your late seconds. Mix in a little Jaydin Higgins, Harold Fannin Jr. And my man, we have a really good 2nd and 3rd round for your rookie draft. So don't trade them now. Don't trade them now. And if you have questions, get into the Smash Accept Patreon. Get into the Discord. Ask the questions now. because we're going to tell you how to how to make these deals work for you. We're not going to sit here and put you guys into a bad position. We've done countless roster reviews in there, and every single one of them were like, chill with the rookie picks. Like, unless you're getting rookie fever type analysis right now, chill with the rookie picks. Take them to the bank on rookie day. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the process.